Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Top 10. I am John Rocha.
And I am Matt Knost. We're here to bring you another movie discussion this week, and we're tackling bounty hunter movies.
Yeah, for the suggestion for what's a film we're doing it for?
Dead for $1.
Dead for $1. Is it a Western, you think?
Yeah, it's a Western-ish.
Okay.
As far as I know, I just clicked on the link and we read the description, and that's as best as I've gotten written down in my notes. And apologies for my audio issues last week. I believe everything is fine this week.
Sound much better this week. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Interesting. This one has this one's from Walter Hill, 48 Hours guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
got a good cast.
Yeah, Rachel Brosnahan, Willem Dafoe, Christoph Waltz. Shit, I didn't get a screening for this. Maybe I'll check this out. Hamish Linklater, Benjamin Bratt. Holy crap. All right. Maybe maybe I'll figure out how to watch this thing. But yeah, bounty hunter films. Great choice, Matt. A lot of films to choose from. But before we get into it, we got to have discussion about Ime Udoka. Come on, man. The Celtics coach suspended for a year.
Is that official?
It's what they're saying. It's what the rumor is saying. Is suspended for a season for having consensual affair with an employee for the Celtics. This seems like crazy to punish this guy for a year or for a majority of the season simply because he had a consensual affair. If they're both adults, I don't see what the problem is, other than cheating on Nia Long, which is a real fucking problem. But I don't see what the problem actually is, Matt.
What you're saying is it's a private matter versus a public team matter.
Right.
Perhaps it's a legal issue of consorting with a female employee. Maybe she's an underling, and there's a power dynamic aspect to this that the Celtics are trying to say, hey, you can't fucking do that, man. I don't know. It's a strange story that we have very little details about right now.
Yeah.
And considering other players and coaches have had greater transgressions.
Oh, yeah.
That he's potentially, for what right now just sounds like an affair. Yeah, I don't know. The details are so scant, and initially it was just exceedingly vague.
Yeah.
For the first 6 hours. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird story.
It is.
After that, and then Doc supposedly getting hacked on Twitter.
Oh yeah, what happened with that? I didn't even see that. What happened with that?
Well, according to Doc and the Sixers, he got hacked on Twitter, but everybody else is speculating, is that the case? Is not that not the case, because there was a bunch of liked porn tweets.
Oh no.
Yeah, of all kinds of predilections. Which, hey man, if that's what you're into, I don't give a shit.
I mean, sure, it's your freedom to do as you see fit in terms of liking something. Yeah, of course.
But the blow up on Twitter was like, I don't know if Doc knows that his likes are public. And then people started screen capping what he liked, and you're like, this is interesting. And then it came out, I was hacked. The Sixers were working with Twitter to get this all, situated, and be like, I don't know what's true in this situation. It makes for a good story.
Yeah, madness. I hate that it's happening to two black coaches, but at the same time, I like that we have so many black coaches in the NBA that this is just, kind of happening now, because certainly white coaches have gotten into situations themselves for stuff, and so
sure,
it's good to see a little bit of equality in some roundabout, indirect way here, because Doc, I'm sure, is not going to be let go.
No, he's fine.
I mean, liking something is, you might have to explain it to your church, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, to various individuals, but it's not grounds for termination.
The Ime Udoka thing is obviously a little more nuanced, because what level is this person at? As you said, is it a person that is in the coaching staff or in the training staff, which would put him directly under Ime, or is it someone in the corporate offices or in the team offices? I think that's a different thing. So, but it's weird. I mean, I'm sure there've been coaches having affairs, white coaches or any coach having an affair with their staff, maybe even gay affairs, I'm sure. So it just seems odd to me.
Phil Jackson was sleeping with Jeannie Buss.
He's the owner of executive on the team. Technically, he's lower level, being the coach. So it's a great point.
So there are no details, so it's kind of
Right,
hard to
right.
figure out
Yeah.
what exactly how I should view this as of right now.
Yeah.
So it just seems very much like a great story for online because anybody can run with anything, any
Oh, yeah.
narrative they like. Um,
Yeah.
but sucks for the seas. What are you gonna do?
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy. All right, so we'll see what happens, man. How are you
So
doing otherwise? Okay, go ahead. What's up?
general thoughts on Andor.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it, top to bottom. Really great show. Best Star Wars. I tweeted that best Star Wars show since Disney bought the property. And in fact, I would say best Star Wars anything since Disney bought the property. Now, I've only seen 4 episodes, but already I would put those 4 episodes in a clump over any 4 episodes of The Mandalorian that were in a row. So to me, that qualifies it as the best piece of Star Wars to have come out yet since Disney acquired the rights and the property. So that, yeah. What about you? Did you get a chance to watch the 3 episodes?
Well, yeah, as a pleb, I only got 3 episodes. And that 3-episode arc was fantastic.
I'm sensing a little bit of derision towards me.
No. Just you let us know. I got to see 4. You lowly peasants in your bread line waiting for your monthly ration of meat.
Well, I mean,
watching it, I was like, that is a amazing 3-episode arc.
Yeah, right?
The people that are like, oh, this is so slow, and be like, give it time to build.
Right.
It's obviously going somewhere.
Yeah.
And boy, the capper on that 3 episodes was like, what a great start. This sucks that there's only 10.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've already created an entire world where I don't have to see force sensitive people.
Right.
And it feels lived in, real, genuine.
Yeah.
Like these oppressed people, where does a rebellion start? And it's
Right.
just the everyday person. Plus, it was nice to see, the dude from Chernobyl. I appreciate seeing him again.
I had forgotten about it. I've got to rewatch that show now that I've seen all these British actors come out of that or were maybe introduced in that. I forgot. And he was in the Batman as well. He is one of my favorites right now. Just the way he's conducting himself is perfect.
The dude in the dude in they're both in Chernobyl.
Who are you referencing? So I'm thinking about the cop, the sergeant.
Yeah, the sergeant.
Yeah. That's
what is he in the Batman?
He's he's one of the detectives who gets to say the F word in the Batman, and I can't remember which one he is.
Because there's another dude that's from Chernobyl, and he's also from like Uncle, British sitcom.
Yeah, right. That guy.
Yeah. That guy. I can't remember Chernobyl and Batman. Oh yeah. No, he's like Jeffrey Wright's boss, isn't he?
Yeah, right. That guy. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Anyway, he's the one that comes in when the first crime scene, and it's like, what is he? I believe doing. He like holds the press conference.
That's right. That's him. That's right. He's like, you better get it all together.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's got then the other guy is the one that like in the interrogation when Jeffrey Wright is like, punch me.
Yeah.
He's the one that pulls all the other cops back and he's like, we'll give you a second.
We'll give you a second to talk.
Yeah, that dude's voice.
I love that dude.
He's great. If you've never seen Uncle out there, it's a good show.
Yeah, Uncle is a great show. That was one of Lindley's favorites. She got me into that. It's so good. And Brett Goldstein was on that show as the boyfriend. So you guys got to watch that one. But he's in apparently Our Flag Means Death, which I'm finally circling around to watch. I enjoyed the first episode, so I'm definitely going to be tearing through that one.
I recommend it. I think it builds the characters. They grow on you. The first couple episodes was like, I don't know, but there's a lot of talent behind this. So you assume that eventually it's gonna, find its groove.
It'll congeal.
I think it definitely does by the end of the season.
Got to watch it. Got to get on it for sure. Anything more you want to say on Andor before we get started with the show?
No.
Okay. All right. We both recommend it. It's got the top 10 seal of approval, at least the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's the best TV show through 3 episodes so far, but we'll see how this bird lands.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's got 12 to go or 9 to go. So, and next week's is great, and it's the longest one of the first 4 episodes. So we're getting into the meat of stuff of what's going to happen. So it's going to be fun. All right, well, let's get into the show here, Matt. How does the show work?
Once we set a topic, we go our individual ways, create personal top 10 lists, show back up here. I do my bottom 3, he does his bottom 3, I do my next 2, he does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
Oh, all right. What do you got, my man, at number 10? Or tell us how you came up with all this.
So at 10, I don't know if it qualifies. If it doesn't, I have one that does.
Okay.
And if it does qualify, it's number 3 on my list.
Wow. So then there'll be another number 10 on your list.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just bumping everything down.
Go ahead.
3 Amigos. Because they offer them money to come down to deal with El Guapo. And then at the end of the movie, they try and give them the money. And they said, our only payment is seeing justice served or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But they are offered a bounty to come down and deal with El Guapo. But it's never called a bounty. And they're not bounty hunters.
Right.
But technically, they are coming down because they think it's an acting gig.
I mean, again, I'm not going to say no to your list. If you feel...
Well,
that's one that should be on the list.
Given that explanation,
yes, I'm fine.
Do you feel like it meets the criteria?
Yes, I think it does. And I'm
okay.
Fine.
Well, then, spoiler alert. That is now my number 3. Okay. So my number 10 then is The Rundown.
Okay, where's that on my? That's my number 9. All right, cool.
Yeah, the early Rock, I think, could be in the running for my favorite Rock movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which good. Is sad because what was this? 12 years ago, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
And guy keeps working.
He just The Rock, right? He was still building.
Well, it was post Scorpion King.
Yes.
But first, I wonder if this was his first Dwayne Johnson or one of the first Dwayne Johnsons.
I guess maybe that's a good point. Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah, because the WWE owns The Rock, hence shifting over and going by your regular name. That way you don't have to give a percentage of every dollar that you make to the WWE.
Right.
Although John Cena is staying with, I'm going to be John Cena and you can take a percentage of my money. Which I understand. I understand both rationales. Cena's is like, you know what? I wouldn't be here without them. There would be no John Cena.
Oh, of course.
I'm perfectly fine with them taking a percentage. And The Rock was like, listen, I'm a fucking star. And you know it. I know it. And I'm going to be Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
But, he plays a bounty hunter that has to go down and, God, I always screw up his name. Sean William Scott?
Yes, Sean William Scott.
Is this the derelict offspring of, I think it's Chris Walken.
Yes.
And Chris Walken's like, listen, because Dwayne Johnson wants out. I'm done. And he's like, do this one last job for me.
Yeah.
Go track down my son. He's in South America. And he has to go down there and get him. And they have a tremendous rapport between the two of them.
Yes.
It's back when I thought Sean William Scott was going to be a star.
Yeah.
Like I saw Bulletproof Monk in the theater because I had firm belief that this dude's got something. Yeah, no, it's not a good movie. Stifler's
got something.
He does. Of the American Pie cast, I figured he was the breakout of all those people.
Okay.
For a short while, it was Tara Reid.
Yeah.
And that's the main's name.
Oh, Thomas Ian Griffith, that guy? Oh, no.
No.
Oh, Jason
the
Biggs.
One, Jason Biggs said they went on to do like Saving Silverman. And
he's got a show now, a sitcom that he does. So, yeah. And the other guy was on Scorpion for a while, the dude who slept with Stifler's mom.
Okay.
But Klein kind of disappeared, so to speak, right? I mean, you haven't seen him in much, I don't think.
No, he got a shot, and I think we all agreed you're not really a leading man.
All of us just kind of said,
yeah, he didn't have the charisma.
Yeah.
I think his best project outside of this would probably be Election.
Yeah, that's right. Which is where he was. I mean, he was spotted as an extra, and then they cast him in Election off of that, and then boom into, No, he was an extra in American Pie, I think, and then they cast him off of that, and then into Election after that. So yeah, I think that's how it worked for Chris.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm fairly certain Election came after.
Yeah, I think it was released after.
Yeah.
But it's the same year. They're both the same year, 99, which is crazy.
Wow, really?
Yeah, both same year. I'm looking at it right now on IMDb. I forgot. He was the lead in Rollerball, right? They tried to make
the James Caan remake.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, they
I
tried.
remember that was him and LL Cool J, was it not?
Yes, LL.
I don't remember anything else about it. Never
Ladies
saw
love
it.
Cool James, man.
That's right. Pink cookies in a plastic bag.
And who was the girl? Was it Rebecca Romaine? Shit.
Never saw it. I don't remember. Yeah. I just remember the poster and snippets of the trailer and how ridiculous it looked. I
would fail in Schmoedown to remember that movie because I only remember Chris Klein in it. Nobody else.
Yeah, him and LL, the only two I remember. The fact that Rebecca Romaine is in it, news to me.
This will break your heart. It was from the director of Hunt for Red October. So,
is that McTiernan?
Yeah, John McTiernan.
Listen, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, I guess so.
They can't all be gems.
No, you're right. But that being said, I mean, he is working consistently now. He's on that Sweet Magnolia show that's been on for 2 seasons. So, hey, shout out to you, guy. Just, kind of making it work. When you're pretty, you can make it work. You can make it work. But yeah, all right, there we go.
That was your rundown?
10?
That was my 10.
Okay.
My number 9 now is the remake of True Grit.
True Grit. Okay. Yes. That is my number. That's a punt.
Okay. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Westerns.
Yeah. I put a lot of Westerns on here, so I apologize ahead of time, but those are the ones that fit the criteria, and those are the ones I liked.
Hey, bounty hunting is a theme.
Yeah. A lot in Westerns. Yeah.
All right. So my 8 is The Hateful Eight.
Oh yeah. That was a cut. So please, it was the last cut. So go ahead, man.
Fair enough. So I've said on the show before, I think the movie's 3 hours long. I think if you cut the first 45 minutes,
yeah, I
am 1000% on board. It's just the slow roll of everybody showing up to the cabin.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, come on, let's go. And that door keeps swinging open and they have to rope it shut. And all the snow and the people trudging in and whatnot. But once they get all into the cabin itself, it's absolutely magic. And you have numerous bounty hunters in this. Kurt Russell's a bounty hunter. Sam Jackson is a bounty hunter.
Right.
And it's all revolving around this one central gang that's kind of a pest to everybody involved, it seems like. They touch their lives in one way or another. But because of the snowstorm outside, they're all trapped in this small cabin together. And as the tensions mount, things, bubble over. And to see the slow, gradual shift in dynamics and where the action and violence comes from is masterful. And just some amazing performances by another, incredible Tarantino cast.
Yeah.
With some, visuals that have stuck with me, like Sam Jackson telling Bruce Dern that story when they're sitting in front of the fire and Bruce Dern is just an old man longing for the loss of his son. And Sam Jackson is the one that took him out, but he gives him the story, and Dern just the disdain, disgust, and venom in his entire being is palpable. But that description from Sam Jackson and the cut to the shots of Sam Jackson and Bruce Dern's son, I can't forget that.
No.
But it's just got so many great performances from a number of actors.
Oh yeah. It's just that for me, it falls apart in the back half of the movie, so I couldn't put it on my list.
That's where I think it's the better. I don't like that first 45.
Oh really? Oh, I love the first 45. Wow. Okay.
Let's fucking get to it. Just somebody shows up and then the door swings open and they got to slam it shut. And now we have this a little bit of introductory dialogue, and this goes on for 10 minutes. And then now new character is introduced, and that goes on for 5 minutes. And it's just like, fuck it, let's go.
Right.
But at the same time, it's one person's opinion. So who the hell am I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
No, it's what you want to see. If it worked for you, it worked for you. And if it didn't, it didn't. For me, it did. And for you, it didn't. And as soon as Chris or Channing Tatum shows up, I'm out. Like I just start to go like, what's the point of this? And blah, 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 man. So yeah, it was ridiculous when he came in. I'm like, oh, damn it. Cause it was such a great buildup and she was such a badass that I don't think Tatum matches her badassery in any way, shape, or form. Jennifer Jason Leigh. I mean, and so for me, it just becomes like, ugh, so it doesn't quite 100% work.
I see what you're saying.
But you're right but the cast is incredible. And those like exchanges and the back and forth with all the cast work really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Tim Roth sowing seeds of doubt. Walter Goggins with, if you didn't know Walter Goggins, well, this is a great introduction to him.
Oh yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah. Outside of Justified, I don't know if people knew him from much of anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So that's my number 8.
Okay. All right. My number 10, only because the bounty hunter is not a bigger part of the movie. The movie itself is fantastic and would be higher up on my list, but because the bounty hunter only comes in for maybe 15 minutes of the movie, I put Raising Arizona at my number 10.
That's called a punt.
Okay, fair enough. My 9 was The Rundown, and my 8, this might offend some people, but again, small part of the movie, Empire Strikes Back.
It wasn't. Yeah, that's true.
It puts him in the carbonite. So it's a distinctive part of the back half of the movie. So, but again, not a number one part, which is why I didn't put it higher up on my list. But that's why it qualifies for me. So it's not on your list, is what you're saying.
No, it just because basically he just stands there, and then we see the shot of him loading Han, and that's Boba's contribution to the movie.
Yeah.
So just like whereas in Raising, he's a pivotal part of the entire third act.
Yeah.
He is the third act.
Right.
So I am more willing to say, because there's interactions and he is a lot, there's, tons of shots and he's talking and whereas Boba just like, yeah, there's a shot of him from behind loading Han and him quietly standing there with the other bounty hunters when Vader's like, we got to get this son of a bitch.
We gotta get this son of a bitch.
He's look, the best bounty hunter. He's just not given a lot to do, in my opinion, in that one.
Right.
As George said, had I known Boba was going to be so amazing, I wouldn't have killed him off unglamorously in the next film. Might actually given him something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it's that he's a presence and he has the interaction with Vader. And certainly, the whole reason he gets put in the carbonite is to be taken by Boba and turned in. And he said, it's no good to me, dead. So it's just kind of this approach and it's there. So it's hanging over the air the whole time. So he does not say much, but it's hanging over the air. And of course it carries into the beginning of Return of the Jedi with a terrible ending for him. But that whole situation there in Empire Strikes Back is really cool. And so to me, that it has an influence in the movie. It has an influence because it affects one of the main characters of the franchise. And I thought it was fantastic. So for me, I love that movie. I love that. I love Boba Fett, which is why I was so excited that they were bringing back him in the series. And did it 100% work for me? No, but I was glad to see that him back.
Percentage wise, what would you say it worked for you? I'm like at 5%, 10%.
No, I think the initial stuff that was laid out in the first few episodes, I was really on board with. And then they started making some curious decisions and using certain things for effect rather than honoring them. Like the whole idea of the Tuskens and then not having, not even going back to the fact that the Tuskens were all wiped out and what that means. They essentially used the Tuskens as a Native American vehicle to motivate the lead to seek revenge. And so we didn't have as much time and we didn't see them fight back. They're just wiped out. And we didn't see them come back in some way in the rest of the show, other than some part of the motivation for him to do what he did. Also the two Jabbas showing up, the two kid Jabbas, whatever. I mean, it was just like, well, what was the point of this? So There's just a number of these things, and I didn't find the finale quite as cool as everybody else. Plus, that Mod Squad racer bike
Brutal.
really didn't work for me at all. So yeah, you can defend it all you want with American Graffiti and George Lucas and homages, and I respect that. It just didn't work for me at all. Yeah. So
Yeah. All right. So that was your what?
that was my number 8. So what's your 7?
So my 7 is for a few dollars more.
Ooh, that's not on my list. Another one is, but that one isn't.
Oh, did you go with the next one?
Yeah, I went with the last one.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
You call that one a bounty hunter movie?
Oh yeah, because I mean they're essentially playing around with the bounty stuff the whole time, and the money and all of that. So to me, it qualifies. But again, it's our separate lists, you know. So.
Okay. I disqualify because like it's a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, Clint Eastwood shows up, and because he's a bounty hunter in search of this criminal who's escaped from prison, killed damn near everybody, and then sees someone else show up as there for the same reason, but it's not motivated by cash. And they decide to team up and be like, we got to take this son of a bitch down. So because of that, given his motivations for being there, it's for, I'm here for the money, for no other reason than to get paid for your head. So I mean, I thought about yours.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for your thought process.
Yeah, sure.
On that one. But this one was clearly for me. Like he's showing up to deal with a bad dude.
Yeah.
Strictly because there's a price on that guy's head.
Yeah.
And he's got to ingratiate himself and try and get the guy to come to trust him, only to turn around and double cross him ultimately and take him down. But it's it's part of a incredible Western trilogy that if you haven't seen, go see it. John's got another one of them that sounds like the capper numero trace of this Man with No Name trilogy. But yeah, I would say for a few dollars more, it's a solid bounty hunter movie, and it made my list at number 7.
Okay, all right, good stuff. I like that one too. It's a good one because it's Lee Van Cleef not being a villain. He's he listens to the music, and it's about his sister. So there's more, and it's one that's the most criminally overlooked in the trilogy because people don't bring up the Man with No Name trilogy enough when they talk about the great trilogies. It's essentially because people sense that it's a different character every film, even though it's the Man with No Name, and some of these actors come back to play different parts in the trilogy. But it is a trilogy, and it is billed as a trilogy, and so the 3 of them are so good. And for a few dollars more, I like that one for the. He talks the most in that movie of the 3. Mm-hmm. And then what happens with him and Lee Van Cleef, and Lee Van Cleef essentially becomes almost like the pseudo hero of the piece. And he becomes almost like the Mad Max to Lee Van Cleef's Imperator Furiosa, right? I mean, she essentially kind of takes over that film. His journey and his stuff with his sister kind of takes over the narrative of that film and how Eastwood is helping him do that.
Well, it's a pure motivation as opposed to just being there for money. He's there for retribution.
Right.
And revenge.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think it, much like the Cornetto trilogy and whatnot, when you change the characters and the story through lines, I don't think people view it in the same light.
Yeah. So there you go.
We're at number 6.
You're 6, right?
Yes.
What do you got?
Which is Django Unchained.
Oh, that's a punt. Slight punt, but it's a punt.
Okay. Fair enough.
So my number 7 is Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
Because of Valkyrie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she's a bounty hunter. She catches Thor.
Yeah, she catches Thor. 100%. Didn't even think of it.
And clearly she's been a bounty hunter for quite some time on Sakaar. So to me, that's kind of qualifies because it's not a random just one thing. It's actual, which is why the proposition didn't make my list. That's a separate. That's just one mission because of his brother. Whereas this is something where she's been a bounty hunter the whole time, or not the whole time, but since she left the king Asgard. So
Asgard.
yeah, and so the way she has her tools. Plus, she's funny. She's interesting. All these things that are going on with her. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I didn't even remotely think of it. Like, it's an excellent choice.
Yeah,
because she
thanks.
full on is like when she's got that shocking collar and
Yeah,
whatnot to subdue
yeah.
her bounties and then
Right.
take him to the Grand Master for his approval. And then he even has the back and forth. Oh, you bring me the best stuff, thereby implying she's
Yeah.
built up a relationship and rapport with him over the past who knows how long, but it seems like it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
So much so that his underlings don't like her because she curries so much favor with him.
Yeah.
And that one is resentful of her for that fact. Yeah, it's a great choice. That probably should make my list. Let me see. So do I want to? I mean, we're bumping down, so that means the rundown is getting bumped off.
Oh no.
I don't know. I'll figure out my placement while we move on, but I think that's
All right.
a worthy addition to the list and one
Yeah.
that I am remiss for not having included.
No worries. No worries. I love that film and love her role in it. And again, a little bit lower because obviously she comes in a little bit later on in the movie, and although she's an essential part of the movie, her bounty hunting isn't a big part of the movie, but it's enough of the part of the movie that to make my list. So and clearly she carries on in the MCU all the way up to the recent Thor: Love and Thunder. So my number 6 is Midnight Run, which I'm sure is a punt.
That is most definitely a punt. Well, I mean, what are we doing here?
I mean, it's just not, I don't gravitate to the film the way you do. So I got to put it where honestly on my list, what number it's at.
And just for I put Thor at 7.
Okay.
So
it matches where I'm at with it.
Yeah. Bumping everything down. So then the rundown it got taken off. Unfortunately for the rundown.
R.I.P. rundown.
Yep. R.I.P. All right. So punt on Midnight Run. So there are our bottom 5s.
Yeah.
And we will take a quick break. Hear this word from our sponsor and then jump into our top 5s right after this. All right. There we are. And my number 5 then is No Country for Old Men.
Ooh, I did. Yeah, I guess that's I didn't put it on my list because he's more of a hitman in my mind. But no, I mean, I guess he's collecting bounties and he's very principled.
He's a mercenary.
Yeah, he's a mercenary. Yeah, yeah.
So they're like, this is what you're hitman, bounty hunter. If you want to say
it's like vacillating.
Yeah. I think in a modern age,
mm-hmm.
he is the equivalent of a bounty hunter.
Great point.
We still have like Dog the Bounty Hunter, but I'm saying on this side of it, you'd hire a hitman.
Yeah.
But in the Pinkerton era, you just call this person a bounty hunter because it was wanted dead or alive.
Yeah.
So is that people calling you?
But I'm letting it go. Let's keep going. We got to record this. So thank you guys for pushing up with this nonsense. I apologize to everybody in here. Charles Clark, Michael D. Dyke, Josh Sachs, James Petty. Thank you very much for dealing with this nonsense. So, and for everybody listening later, I apologize. You have to deal with this shit as it's happening. But anyway, let's keep going. Yeah.
So Anton Chigurh and then technically Woody Harrelson as well.
Yeah.
Are both in it for the bounty and, a wanted dead or alive type of situation.
Yeah.
Which they don't give a shit. They're just there to recapture the money. The money is the bounty.
And he's a man of principle. He does not, like, when she tries to negotiate her way out of the situation, he's like, no, I got to kill you. This is the way it works. I've got a bounty to collect. You're on the bounty list now. I got to handle this situation.
So cold and matter-of-factly. Do you think the hair was his choice or the Coens?
Oh, I think it totally was his choice.
You think so? I figure it's got to be the Coens.
He's an actor. I think getting into look, all the different hairstyles he wears in all the different movies. I mean, that whole blonde thing in
In James Bond, Skyfall.
Skyfall, right? The
Yeah,
whole blonde thing in Skyfall, that's a whole separate look. So
but you don't think that was Mendez saying we're thinking blonde for this?
I don't know, to be honest with you, because actors have very strange ideas. I mean, we've talked about Rounders before, how Malkovich was like, this is the accent I'm going with, deal with it, And so I think some people, I've heard actors talk about how, like, I want it to look a certain way, I want it to feel a certain way or whatever. And so that was what you get here with Anton Chigurh. So maybe it was the Coens, but maybe it would, because it's so uniquely different. And I don't know that the Coens are known for doing hairstyles. I mean, Dapper Dan.
I know, like Lebowski. Jeff Bridges is on record saying what he brought to the character were the jellies that he wears. Those are his actual shoes, thereby implying, well, the Coens chose everything else.
Right.
And I'm assuming, like, John Goodman's character, and like, oh, we're going to do these types of shades, those little tinted shooting range glasses. That's what I think of every time I see it and whatnot, and the vest and the cargo shorts and everything else. So I just kind of assume, but maybe.
Yeah.
It's just a hell of a choice. I mean, it is distinctive as can be.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an Andor thought.
Okay.
So in episode 3, they finally have like a couple long side profile shots of the lieutenant, I guess he is. He's an officer. We don't know what he is.
Yeah.
And I cannot shake for the life of me. Have you ever seen Heavy Metal? The animated
one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So there's a bunch of vignettes in that.
Yeah.
And there's the court scene one, and the witness that eventually grows 10 times in size. He looks like the witness.
Oh, interesting.
Because they show him from the side, and he's got a pointed chin, and he's got this nose with a slight bulb on the end of it. And from the side, I'm like, oh my God, I could not. They kept flashing to it too, because it was looking out that door.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Right.
I don't think that's really a spoiler. He's looking out a door. But it is a side profile shot, and they just kept showing it. I was like, I cannot shake this Heavy Metal fucking comparison in my head.
Yeah.
You can use that on the live stream tonight.
Please, let's put it together.
People aren't going to hear it. You want to put together a package for it? I can attack the people attacking you and then come at me, and I just won't ever respond. Not a problem. Just compile a list. And I will come out in the opposite stance. I don't think anybody not white should be reviewing or starring in anything remotely to do with any property ever. Signed, David Duke.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a comedy show before someone clips this out and makes a big deal.
Oh, go ahead. Clip it and throw it back.
Yeah, you say that. It's not going to affect you. They'll come after me because you're barely on social media. They'll come after me. So, but I just have to clarify that, but yes, I think that would be funny as shit. Yeah, I'm just like, whatever. Let's wasting time talking about it. All right. So my number 5 then is the punt from earlier, True Grit, the remake.
Sure.
You mentioned Jeff. You just mentioned Jeff Bridges. So good. Here's Rooster Cogburn got himself the Oscar for it. Haley Steinfeld, so good. But the bounty and with LaBeouf or LaBeef it's such a big deal getting Tom Chambers. Is that his name? Tom Chambers. Getting him, and so it becomes a prevalent part of the movie, and it's such a fantastic movie.
Oh, who they're going after?
Yeah, isn't it Tom Chambers or what is it, Tom?
Shit, I don't know. I remember LaBeouf.
Yeah,
and then I just remember the actors. I can't remember the characters' names.
Yeah, I think it's Tom Chambers because she says it like 100 times in the movie. Tom Chambers. Tom Chaney. Sorry, Tom Chaney.
Close.
Very close. But yeah, that becomes a prevalent part of the movie, obviously, and it's what drives and motivates everything that happens all the way up to the end. So it's pretty cool. Sorry about that. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna turn my phone off so I don't get any more calls. But yeah, so there it is on my. Why do you have it lower on you? Is it just that it's not enough of the film, or is it?
There's a ton of westerns on my list, and I was like, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out where I can squeeze in all these fucking westerns, and then it just became a. What have I seen the most? Although you could make a case I've seen it just as many times
Yeah.
as Hateful Eight,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
have them
Nice.
right next to each other on my list.
Oh, fair enough.
So
Well, we
yeah, I
took
think
it.
they're
5.
movies of equal merit, just for different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're
Uh,
different stories. The Bounty Hunters are part of them, but they're different stories. So,
yeah, but True Grit's more of a traditional
yes. Yes.
bounty hunter-esque tale. She shows up and says, "I want to get this guy," because basically, like the local sheriff, it's like, "Nah, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna
Too
do
much
that."
trouble for one dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this is a wide expanse of land. You want me to go off on a huge manhunt after one guy?
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. And so he gives her some names, and then she finds Rooster, and he's like, "Well, he seems like a cunt, and just the type of person I want to hire for this." And she was correct.
Yeah.
And
True.
then Matt Damon shows up, and he's on the hunt for the same Chambers.
Yeah.
Or no, it's Cheney.
Chaney. Yeah. Tom Chaney. Yeah.
For different reasons, so much so that they ditch her at one
Yeah.
point, and they're just like, "Wow, we're going to get paid one way or the other," but they're off bounty hunting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no specific reason. I don't think any lesser of the movie. This is actually, there are quite a few Westerns, but the movies up against one another in this list are all fantastic
Yeah.
in varying degrees.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, that might be a 10 on my list, but this is not the usual week where, not the usual week, but it happens on occasion where like, yeah, I like that film at 10. Whereas this one's like, that's a great film.
Yeah.
All 10 of these, I think, are great films.
Yeah. All right. So what's your 4?
My 4 is Raising Arizona.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, man. Sorry on your list.
You know, the bounty hunter is the third act, baby.
It's true. Very true. Very true.
And even tells Nathan Arizona, "Listen, man, you don't pay me. I'm gonna sell this baby. I'm getting paid one way or another."
Yeah.
I just brutally tries to balk on him. He's like, "That's fine." He takes it to a level you don't anticipate. He's like, "Okay, well, there's always a market for babies." Oh, is there? That's a weird. I understand like art theft. Sure, there's a market out there for that somewhere.
Yeah.
I just don't know what context you got to have for selling babies. But it's I don't know. He's just such a great counter to High, who's this meek ne'er-do-well
Yeah.
who really just can't get his shit together. And then you match him up against someone like Cobb, who's this already imposing presence. And then you almost make him kind of a man with no name-esque, talks very little and just has a presence and aura about him that is menacing.
Yeah.
That you just respect from afar. And the fight between the two of them, like when he grabs him by the foot and he's pulling him, and he's trying to claw at the pavement with like one eye swelling shut. And just, it's the what I love about that movie is the comedy is simultaneously very broad and yet in its broadness, it's very smart.
Yeah.
Like the choice of that and him grappling at it and holding it is like trying to hold on. It's a broad joke, and yet it fits perfectly.
Yeah, it totally works
within the entire theme of the movie and the sensibility that they've created.
Yeah.
It just the confidence from young directors and young actors to pull this off. And there's a reason why almost, the principles of all of this have now been mainstays in cinematic lives for 35 years.
Yeah.
It's really impressive. But like this early flash from Nick Cage, you can see the various range that he can do.
Right. He's so good in this.
Yeah. And I think it's a movie that's grown with time with me.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Oh, man. Just from the opening. Well, okay, fair enough for you. But for me, it's always been like one of my favorites. Just from the opening. I mean, the narration he does is so great. And then right into the song. And then at the end, when he's doing what he's doing at the end there, when he's saying he's sorry before what happens to the bounty hunter happens to the bounty hunter. And then the great, sweet voiceover at the end, which I think is fantastic when he's talking about all this stuff. So yeah, absolutely. I love it. It's and it's Holly Hunter. It's one of the best roles Holly Hunter's ever played too. I mean, she's fantastic in the movie, they got more than they can handle. And then
Yeah.
I know, but things have changed. The whole thing that she's doing is just so good, walking that line between caricature and reality, and
Yeah.
so perfect. And
But
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
well, you look at what else she's putting out around that time.
Yeah.
Like broadcast news.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Good
You know, like
point.
these very serious, and there's some
Serious.
humor in there, but it's the
Yeah.
sly, like witty, surgical kind of like boom, rifling in a shot here or there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the choice, just the broad choice that
Right.
doesn't feel like it's pandering,
Yeah. Absolutely.
is difficult to do. And yeah, I saw it's one of the few movies I can remember my dad taking us to that my mom wasn't there for,
Mm,
and I was a kid,
right.
like I don't know, 7, 8 years
Yeah.
old. Like, this is not a kid's movie. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And then bought a Cohen DVD set from Costco years ago,
Yeah.
and that's when I reappreciated like that. First time I saw Blood Simple was from that. But anyway,
Yeah. All right. So then my number 4 is Django Unchained,
okay.
which was where was that on your was it not on your list?
No, it's on my list. It's number 6.
No, 6. So the punt from earlier. So yeah, I love this movie. This one, it's funny you just said it grows. This one has grown with me over time. Like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is good. This is good Tarantino. Other than him being in the movie, this is good
Yeah.
stuff and a great brutal exploration of what it might be like if a slave became a bounty hunter and was enacting this stuff in a white controlled area. And I thought it was badass right when I first saw it. But also stuff with slavery is really tough for me to watch on film because it really does affect me emotionally as I watch this stuff. So I can't like really get into it again. Sorry, I can't rewatch it multiple times. But this one I've kind of made myself rewatch because there's such great dialogue here, and the scenes. There's enough humor in the scenes to kind of balance out the real brutality that's here about how in the slavery aspects of it all, how they treat Broomhilda and put her in the hole and all of that. Like it's just some of that can be real stark imagery that affects me deeply to watch. But this film, because of all the other stuff around it, has kind of come back into my rotation. And the stuff with Sam Jackson and Jamie Foxx is great. The stuff with Sam Jackson and DiCaprio is fantastic. And then at the end, there's so many messages that are being sent. This idea of being so brainwashed by being in service to his white master that he doesn't even realize the things that he's doing. When it comes back to the stuff that Malcolm X used to talk about, the field versus the slave, and how that happens. And so I'm sorry, the field versus the house. Sorry about that. Field versus the house Negro and how that all goes about. So a lot of that coursing through this, and so it's a much deeper film than I had initially gave it credit for. And so I love watching it now. And Christoph Waltz is so damn good in this movie, and the chemistry with him and Jamie is so good too.
And I mean,
yeah,
when Django shows up and we get introduced to DiCaprio and whatnot, and they're riding back to the house, and they stop and they see that one person that tried to escape, the slave that tried to get away, the callousness from Jamie Foxx knowing, you can see it within his performance. I realize what I'm about to do is wrong, which is siding with DiCaprio, but I'm here for my wife.
Yeah.
So just going coldly, like I'm with you. This guy is in the wrong somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the performances over and over and over again within that. I agree with you. When I saw it, I thought it was good. And now watching it again, it grows a little bit more each time.
Yeah.
Because you just see a little bit more of the subtleties of the performances. And then you find out, behind the scenes stuff of what the actors pushed themselves to do, because this could not have been an easy headspace to get in for numerous people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. All right. What's your 3?
My number 3 is the punt from earlier, which is Three Amigos, if it's technically going to count.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. You had said that. Go ahead, please.
Look, it's an all-time comedy classic. It's got a million quotable lines in it.
Sure.
Look up here. Look up here. It's so stupid, and yet it is utterly fantastic. It still holds up for me to this day.
Yeah.
I would happily throw it on right now. You want to invite the haters to a Three Amigos watch along? We can maybe turn some frowns upside down here.
Except I don't like it. So yeah. So yeah.
So you're saying so? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, it's a fine line that I'm treading with this one
Mm-hmm.
because they are actors and they think that they're just accepting basically like a live theater job.
Yeah.
And they show up and the town thinks that they're hiring them as for a bounty to take out El Guapo.
Yeah.
And then they do that stupid, Hollywood-esque, we ride around and fire our blank guns up into the air while, hooping and hollering.
Yeah.
And El Guapo's guys are befuddled, so they run away. And I just love the congratulatory sense of themselves of like, great show today, you guys. Great show.
Great show.
They loved it. We killed it. Dude, you were amazing. I love that.
Muck show.
Yeah. While I am not an actor, I do like movies about just the pompousness of actors.
Yeah,
I think
course.
it's pretty fantastic.
Of course.
And then when they get confronted with the actual, violence that could befall them and watching them crumble and then have to pick themselves up and face this head on. Are we just going to be these meek individuals or we got to do something?
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah.
Martin Short and Steve Martin plus Chevy Chase, dude. They're three greats at the top of their games.
Yeah.
So good.
I agree. No, I don't agree. I don't like that movie, but I respect your feeling about that. I respect it. People do love that movie, man. Yeah. I don't know. It's like that. It's Clue. It's like Clue. I just don't get why people love that movie so much, but I also don't disrespect them loving that movie. So. Yeah. So my number 3 is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And as I said, because the whole film is about them tricking people in that he's a bounty hunter, bounty hunting Eli Wallach. So if you don't have this relationship at the beginning of the movie, which is set up, I think, for the first 20 minutes of the film, you don't get the rest of the stuff that it all leads to. And yeah, we go through the Civil War and we go through the Union and we end up in that graveyard and we see, of course, Lee Van Cleef having his thing because he's going after that money. But it's all predicated on the fact that they have this relationship of being fake bounty hunters and bounty. Well, actually, he's a real bounty because he's a real criminal, so he's a legitimate bounty. But they fake getting him captured so he can keep, shooting the hanging rope so he can get away. So that is such an impetus to all of this. That's why I consider it a bounty hunter film, and because it's such a great film, I put it at the top. Of the list for me, or near the top of the list for me.
I mean, if I viewed it the same way, you're not wrong on the being at the top of the list. I can't disagree with anything you just said.
But when you think about the movie, you don't think about the bounty hunting. That's what you're saying.
I still don't think it's. But at the same time, like I've got No Country, and he's he's never called a bounty hunter, and they never say we have a bounty on this individual and whatnot. So I'm willing to split hairs there. But I think ultimately, I mean, his motivation is to fulfill the contract, aka the bounty.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it's a lot more complex than that.
Yeah.
But the treasure is the primary motivation that gets them to that final scene. Keeps pushing them. It's what they, it's driving them to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, I'm just one asshole with an opinion. So
that should be.
You want to get t-shirts made up?
I love this idea. Just pictures of solo shirts of you and solo shirts of me saying the same thing. Just an asshole with an opinion. The top 10. Listen to the top 10. All right. What's your 2, man?
My 2 is John Wick 3.
Is he a bounty hunter in John Wick
everybody turns into a bounty hunter because
Oh, great point.
that 14 or 15 or whatever it is $1 million bounty turns on him, and then the whole movie is him running from people just trying to get that money.
Right. Good point.
By killing him.
Fair enough. Okay.
So once shit turns on him,
yeah,
which is basically in the middle of surgery, or he's getting fixed up, so to speak. From that moment on, it's like game on.
Yeah,
I'm getting attacked on all sides by numerous bounty hunters. Which, boy, I hope they're doing post on 4, and they've already announced 5.
Yeah,
I don't know how you top 3.
I mean, 2 was not that good. So
no, 2's not
3,
good.
3 was a great comeback, and now you wonder about 4 and 5. But hey, they're doing 2 fucking Mission Impossible movies back to back, and they seem to find a way to up the ante each time since the second one. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, look, I'm holding out hope. That fight scene with the knives,
oh my god, that was great,
so good.
Yeah,
and it was, I think, the most believable of the unbelievable scenes like that, because some of the knives hit like the butt of the handle hits them.
Yeah,
because not every knife throw is going to be fucking perfect.
Yeah,
and just like you're flinging them, but you're trying to inflict, damage on the other individual.
Right.
And it's just like, well, something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that you could have trimmed a little bit of the fat from John Wick 3.
Look, I know everybody loved the 2 raid guys showing up to have the battle with John, but it made no sense that John Wick was going to defeat those guys. It was like watching Danny Glover and Mel Gibson take on Jet Li. It made no sense at all in Lethal Weapon 4. So to me, I'm just like, I think you could have cut that whole fight. Although it was great to see the raid guys there, I think you could have cut the whole fight. And clearly they're coming back and forth, because it seemed like at the end of the fight, they're all like, I'll see you again soon down the road.
Well, yeah, he took out all the other underlings from...
Yeah, he killed all of them except for those 2.
Right? Yeah, except for those 2. Just like, okay, well, he's now even more out on his own because he's been excommunicated.
Yeah.
I love that the faux Latin excommunicado. Okay. They have this weird, Illuminati like structure to their whole organization. But that's also the fun part of it. It's a
totally
a twist on a genre. It's good. But yeah, I figure they're going to be part of the bigger heavies that he's got to take on in the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it got a tad bloated.
Right.
In 3, but that's also, did my Sunday need the 3rd cherry? For me, no. For others, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
It was still good.
I still ate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I still ate it, still enjoyed it, and still wanted another one after that.
Yeah.
But I could have maybe used a little less on the toppings. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. But different strokes for different folks. That's why the Cheesecake Factory has 57 different versions of cheesecake,
Yeah. All right, so then my number 2 is Blade Runner. I know it's not one of your favorite films, but he is a bounty hunter. He's not a policeman. He's a bounty hunter. The replicants are the bounties, and he has to collect those bounties throughout the movie. And even the opening scene is a bounty hunter talking to a replicant, and then of course the replicant kills him, which is what motivates them to go after Deckard, to bring him in to go after the replicants. And he does go after, Leon, and goes after Joanna Cassidy's character. And then eventually Roy goes after him instead of him going after Roy. And so it's a very complex film about what he does as a bounty hunter and how that affects his life, especially when he starts to fall in love with Sean Young's character, Rachel, and what that all leads to. So to me, this all really functions well as a bounty hunter movie, with a lot of levels and a lot of complexity. And it's still a joy to watch that movie. I know it's not one of your favorites, but if you can have Three Amigos, I can have Blade Runner.
Yeah. It completely qualifies. And the majority of people listening agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't dislike the movie. I just don't understand why so many people hold it in such high regard.
Yeah.
I don't, But let me tell you more about why Three Amigos is amazing. So,
I'm just an asshole with an opinion. That's all.
yeah. Look. You can't have steak every night,
I mean, right?
You got to mix it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you got to have, hamburgers.
Right.
Just as good, just different version. Yeah, briefly thought about 2049, but it's like, nah, he's a cop.
Yeah, I was on the fence on that one, but no, he's a cop because he's under Robin Wright's control. I think it's more nebulous, and it's more obvious this cop there, and it's more nebulous in Blade Runner because Emmett Walsh essentially feels like he's running a bounty hunter company because of also Edward James Olmos's character, right? He's essentially a bounty hunter as well. So yeah, agreed. All right, so what's your one, man?
My one is Midnight Run.
Oh, right. Okay, go ahead.
Look, this is a bounty. This is the most bounty hunter of all the bounty hunter films.
Okay.
Just set it up. Hey, we got to do this, and then it's just a buddy picture between the bounty hunter and his bounty, and you're dealing with just the two of them, and practically every single stinking scene.
It's true.
As they traipse across the entire country, and I figured, A, I'm a big fan of Midnight Run, but B, given that they're both, the two of them are in almost every single shot.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, I'm going to elevate that higher on my list. And then I was just like, I'll just put it at number one because why not?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like an early glimpse of De Niro doing comedy.
Yeah.
I don't really remember anything before this where I can think of point two.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him in a comedic film. And it shows glimpses of some of the stuff he'll be able to pull off later and like analyze this and meet the parents existing in this comedic world while still maintaining the essence of the character. So in this, he's still a tough guy.
Yeah.
But he's got, he has a nice interplay with Charles Grodin as they're trying to scam their way into like the cash in the bar and whatnot. So he's not always this big hard ass, but there are other times where he's just basically dragging Grodin by the ear, and there's good comedic effect in that, as Grodin is more like the child in this instance.
Yeah.
And then the role reversals where I'm kind of siding with Charles in this moment, and you're being kind of an asshole. Just the back and forth, but the rapport between the two actors, it's really great. I wish they had done more projects together because they seem to have, at least on screen, a tremendous amount of respect for each other.
Yeah.
And maybe it's those types of environments where De Niro is willing to do more of the comedy because, when he matches up thereafter, it's usually, with high caliber talent, Billy Crystal, Ben Stiller type of things where he knows he's kind of in safe hands. And then now he'll just do almost anything as long as there's a paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's you're not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really surprising. Him and Pacino, who were considered, the consummate actors, the actors everybody wanted to be coming out of the 70s into the 80s, to see them now just like, well, whatever. And it's not they don't do good films. I mean, The Irishman, in my opinion, was damn good, but you see them popping up in the weirdest places like War with Grandpa and all this kind of stuff. And you're just like, what's the motivation?
Is that what it is? War with Grandpa? It's not bad. Is Bad Grandpa the Johnny Knoxville?
No, I think there was two of them. I think Bad Grandpa.
Really?
Yeah, there was two Grandpa movies with De Niro. Let me see here. Grandpa. Actually, I should probably just go to Robert De Niro's filmography, because there is absolutely a bunch of Grandpa movies, or at least a couple. Where is it? Yeah, War with Grandpa was in 2020. Dirty Grandpa is in 2016. That's the one I think with Zac Efron. Yeah.
Yeah, Bad Grandpa then is the Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah. But of course, I mean, he's done the Joker, and so he's balancing things out, but still. I didn't see Wizard of Lies, so I don't know how good he was in that.
I did. That seems more of a Pacino type of thing because Pacino does a bunch of those. Well, no, I'm saying the HBO.
Yeah, right. With
He did the Paterno and he
Spectre
did
one.
Kevorkian and
Yeah.
Spectre and which I've only seen the Kevorkian of those.
It's a pyramid scheme. Hoo-ha! Come on.
Well, that's De Niro's in the Ponzi Bernie Madoff Ponzi
that's
scheme.
It's a Ponzi scheme. Let's go. Pacino is Bernie Madoff.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
But yeah, so yeah, but it's a good film. Midnight Run, obviously, and we did it on the Cinephiles. If anybody wants to go back and listen to that episode on the Cinephiles, Matt was our guest, and we talked about that film from top to bottom. So it was a lot of fun. My number one is Unforgiven, because the whole film is about them going to collect the bounty for hurting the girls.
I can't believe I didn't think of that. All the Westerns that I have, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, so
well, amending my list again. So Thor is on there. There's one.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It is all. To me, it's between that and The Searchers as the greatest Western ever made, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Magnificent Seven every once in a while bubbles up and challenges, but then they push it right back down to number 2 or 3. But like for me, those are the two top Westerns ever made, and Unforgiven, depending on the day, is number 1 for me. And I love that whole. I watched an hour of it the other day, just sitting around enjoying it and enjoying the situation that's going on here with Clint Eastwood and what he's navigating and the changes that are going on with him, and it all, being the young man who was full of piss and vinegar and the old dude now who has kind of found love and put down all his anger and doesn't want to revert to it. And all this shit needs to happen for him to finally revert to the anger and act on it, and it is brutal when the switch happens. But the whole thing is led by the kid. Was it the Missouri kid or something like that? He's the kid that comes in and asks him to join him. And then, of course, he brings Ned along. But they're all about collecting the bounty that these prostitutes, I guess, for lack of a better term, have put up because of these cowboys who have cut up one of the girls. And so that is the whole motivation of the movie. So everything that happens is connected to them trying to collect the bounty on this situation because they all need the money, All
right. Well, I didn't mess around. It's number 1.
Okay.
Done.
Number 1.
Yeah, it's Unforgiven.
Yeah, come on.
It is. Yeah, when William Money, I can't believe I had so many. I had Slow West on the side list.
Yeah, Slow West was a consideration for me as well. I love Slow West.
Technically, I was like, maybe I can make a case for 3:10 to Yuma.
Oh yeah. Right, because they
want to basically Christian Bale negotiates a contract to help bring him in.
Yep.
Because he needs the money to save his family farm.
Right.
And I was like, there wasn't necessarily a bounty out.
Yeah,
he negotiated a bounty for it. And I was like, oh, well, I got plenty of other Westerns that I don't have to kind of hem and haw on this. and a couple others. I was like, I can make a case here or there. Didn't even think of Unforgiven, even though that's the whole catalyst.
Yeah.
Bring him out of retirement.
Yeah.
Is a sex worker got cut up. And now he's here for the money,
right?
And to exact the revenge that money entails.
Yeah. Let's see. James Petty says, I remember watching Midnight Run with my dad, and he really enjoyed it. So a nostalgic film for me, a great combination of comedy and thriller. Charles wants to know if we want to send in more brackets for Full Metal Bracket, should we continue sending submissions to the Topic Thunder email? Yeah, I think so. Right, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a backlog of those.
Yes.
Right now, we have quite a few. I would imagine next week would probably be the first.
Yes.
A Full Metal Bracket.
Yeah.
Even though it's written on the screen right now, I was trying to conjure the name in my head. We'll be starting. So we're going to be peppering those in with the Topic Thunders. We just now have. I don't even know how many. There's quite a few people have been sending in.
Yeah.
Since we put the call out. So thankfully, Charles, we definitely know that you have. I know there's at least one from
I think
Charles.
So. One in there. Yeah.
There might be more than one from Charles.
Yeah.
It seems like the people that really enjoy it end up doing like 1, 2, maybe 3 over the course of however much time.
Yeah.
But yeah, please do.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's our separate lists for the top 10 bounty hunter movies. So we're going to put it together. Again, I don't have the bongos. There was a bunch of moving around going on, so I will try to find them. After when I had to redo the office so I could sleep in here for 2 weeks, I put stuff away, and I'm not sure where I put some of the stuff. So I will have to find it before the next show for sure. All right, let's put it together here, Matt. What do we got?
Well, Unforgiven is 1.
Yes.
Where did you have Midnight Run?
6.
And then I
Where's
think that
Django?
might be our highest commonality.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Because Django is what? 6 on yours, right?
Now it's 7 because
7,
Unforgiven
okay.
going to the top. And True Grit got bumped off.
That's a shame.
Thor Ragnarok is on my list. So is Raising Arizona. I've got that at 5.
Okay. That's a 5-10.
Yeah, that's a 5-10. Django's a 7-6.
Mine is 4. Django
Okay.
4.
4-7. We could do Django in 3. If it's 4-7, I think that's our highest commonality.
So put it to 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I guess technically it'd either be Thor Ragnarok, Raising Arizona, or we move to our personal list.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Blade Runner is my number 2, so I'd like to put that there, and then we can move to commonality if you like.
Sure, you just get to get one of yours on there and then go back to commonality, huh?
Okay, you want to put one? We can put one of yours on there.
I mean, my number 3 is John Wick 3. I'd like to get the...
We got to flip for that because I have Good, the Bad, and the Ugly at 3.
Well, I already wrote down John Wick 3, so I think that has been settled. All right, I got the coin.
You want to explain it to our fans? Feel free.
But I've already, listen, I love the environment, so to backspace and close that out would take more energy.
Fair enough.
And,
okay,
we live in a closed system, so there's only so much energy. With entropy, we're just losing energy.
We live in a society. Yeah, good point.
All right, here you go. It is. Fucking went to the other side of the room. Two weeks in a row, I get screwed.
Boom. There we go.
Well, officially, apparently, you hate the environment. That's
what? No.
Good, the bad. All right, so then we'll do Raising Arizona.
Okay.
And Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
We have 2 spots left.
All right. So I have True Grit at number 5.
I have my number 4, Three Amigos.
Ooh, so I guess that goes there.
Yep, and then True Grit is number 10.
Perfect. All right, we made it. Let's do it. The top 10 bounty hunter movies. Yeah. At number 10.
True Grit.
At number 9.
Three Amigos.
At number 8.
Thor Ragnarok.
At number 7.
Raising Arizona.
At number 6.
John Wick 3.
At number 5.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
At number 4.
Blade Runner.
At number 3.
Django Unchained.
At number 2.
Midnight Run.
And our number 1 bounty hunter movie is
Unforgiven.
Yeah, we all got it coming, kid. All right, there we go. That's our movies. We love it. Top 10 bounty hunter movies. Do we have anybody else's list to read? Do we have any shout outs? Do we have anything we need to do?
No, that's all for next week. We got Boss Hog next week plus shout outs for next week. So listen for that. Thank you to everybody that joined us.
Thank you,
on our second live show of the month. And if you would like to participate in that, you can go to patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10.
Yeah.
And $10 and above, you get to join us twice a month and watch the live shows with us. We'd love to have you. And you can follow the show on Twitter at Top 10 Show. It's all spelled out. Otherwise, on YouTube and Instagram, it's /the Top 10 Podcast with the number 10. So please come join us at any of those.
You can
Yeah.
always follow me. Oh no, did you want to?
No,
Sorry, go ahead.
please.
No,
Please.
nope. Please
Nope.
go finish up.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Go.
Yeah, you can always follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch, and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says, and my other podcast, The Cinephiles, The Geek Buddies, Hot Mic, and Strong Style for all your professional wrestling needs. Anything else? Is that it?
Well, you can follow me at Matt Knost. And make sure to check out Settle the Score. You can get it anywhere you get podcasts, or if you want to watch it, you can go to youtube.com/Matt Knost. So there you go.
The time is coming. 2 weeks away from 2 or 3 weeks away from me and Dorina, I think. So
yeah, it'll
my.
so long as schedules hold, it'll be coming out in 3 weeks.
Oh my.
Recording
Sounds
in
good.
2 weeks.
Better start studying.
Need to
now.
put that list together.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here on the Top 10. Don't forget, we've got Topic Thunder coming up a little bit later in the week. So make sure you listen to that as well. And we appreciate it madly. You guys are the best. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show. Peace.